So I recently joined an atheist TikTok live as a guest, and before I continue, I just want to say that I appreciate being allowed to join. I appreciate that she was creating that space for people and that we can have these discussions. That said, I don't think it was a great experience, and I want to talk about that experience and then in later videos bring up some of the subjects that were discussed. I think that the biggest problem was that the experience felt disingenuous. It didn't really feel like we were there to discuss important issues. It didn't feel like the engagement was meant to be respectful and also, to an extent, of course, intellectual. You can kind of see some insincerity, irony, and parody in the content that this creator makes, and I definitely think that very much came out in the live stream as well. So the space that was created didn't feel genuine, didn't feel respectful. I think there was a lot of interruption from her, a lot of sidestepping some of the important questions and issues that I brought up, a lot of reiterating the same point that was already addressed, a lot of assertions, a lot of asking a question when I had asked a question and wanted an answer, that sort of thing, which just adds to the disingenuous and disrespect, but also creates the illusion of communication. But what is going on when those types of things are present isn't actually communication. Related to the content of the live stream, something I've talked about with the atheist and deconstruction crowd is that sometimes, though not always, there are atheist Bible scholars that I think do great work, like Dr. Kip Davis, for example, but sometimes there is just a lack of knowledge about how to appropriately interpret the text, a lack of knowledge about some historical facts surrounding the text or somehow related to it, and a whole bunch of other things. And that came out, and so there was an assumption that the term firstborn in the plagues of Egypt referred to the first child and children, rather than what it actually refers to in ancient culture and in the Bible, which is designated inheritors. After bringing up that point in response to what she said, she kind of kicked me off the live, and she was talking about how the conversation and those points were boring, even though the point isn't to entertain but to seek out truth. At least presumably that's the pretense. And that's just a basic historical fact, apart from Bible interpretation and religion. Other stuff like the flood and Genesis 1 and science and faith were also discussed, which is the main thing that I wanted to discuss. And what I found interesting was that she responded to me like a lot of young earth creationists do, particularly like fundy young earth creationists specifically, where you be dogmatic about what the text says, i.e. it says it's a global flood. And if you don't believe that, you don't believe the Bible. But this is a false dichotomy. This is fallacious reasoning, and one of the problems that I find again, which is that atheists and deconstructionists will become the opposite side of the same coin. They will just be fundy and young earth, but just atheist and accepting of evolution. And this is a massive problem. This is throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and all of this and this whole false dichotomy and this whole opposite side of the same coin deal is just completely unnecessary. And I tried addressing all of that and offering, I think, a better interpretation, but constant interruption and other things are taking place again. It felt like a disingenuous conversation, even if that wasn't the intent. This is how it felt. So yeah, not a great experience, especially for someone like me specifically, who gets very uncomfortable in spaces where dialogue is supposed to occur, but it's disingenuous, it's disrespectful. And I don't know if you would call it like communication trauma, but I certainly have a lot of issues and insecurities about my communication, and it really hurts that and triggers that to be in those sorts of spaces. I think I did fine regardless, but I know when something's wrong when a dialogue or conversation hits that spot and I just start reacting internally. Anyways, that was my experience. Hopefully people had different experiences, and I know that not all atheists and all atheist live streams are the same, so you don't have to remind me of that. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments about what's been discussed in this video, and make sure you follow me for more content like this.